different measurements are concerned, why you require this signal conditioning. So necessity of signal conditioning for self-generating sensors. First thing, the amplitude of the parameter which you are measuring, either through thermocouple or through a piezoelectric device or piezoelectric sensor, or it is any other sensor, say photovoltaic cell or any chemical sensor or gas sensor, any of these sensors, the output amplitude may not be sufficient to give it to the next stage directly. So this is one of the reasons. The second one is frequency. Now for amplitude amplifiers, the frequency at which the maximum amplification happens is basically dependent on the amplifier design, or rather the amplifiers don't amplify all the frequency signals equally. They are dependent on the frequency. So the difference gain in op amps or the common mode rejection ratio in op amp, all these factors are dependent on frequency. So when they are dependent on frequency, at too low frequencies, the amplification is very, very less because of the shunting effect of the capacitors. Only in the mid-band region, these shunting effect or the coupling effect, they are minimized. So at too low frequencies, and usually our signals which are coming from either thermocouples or piezoelectric devices, they are all going to be low frequency signals, especially the piezoelectric, which generates the oscillations. They are all very low frequency signals. So these low frequencies, if they are given to an amplifier whose low frequency gain is very, very less, then sufficient output is not available from the amplifiers. So for this, what is required is, in this particular region of low frequency, the amplifier should be designed to amplify these signals and then given to the next stage. So as far as the frequency is concerned, the amplification should take place at the right frequencies. Next factor is output impedance of sensors producing current or voltage. Now, what is this output impedance factor? If the output impedance is very high, then what happens? The current, if it is going to be sensed, because of the high output impedance, sufficient current will not flow through this device. So as a result, if you are sensing the current, it is not sufficient enough to be sensed. It may be taken as a noise signal. So under such cases, immediately this current has to be converted to voltage. So current to voltage conversion should take place immediately before the amplification. Then this voltage now has to be given to the amplifier so that sufficient amplification takes place. So for this, we require either current to voltage converter, or this current should be given to a capacitor where the charges are available, and these charges again in turn are converted to voltage. Then the amplification should take place. So some of these techniques are required here. Similarly, voltage to current also in some cases the conversion is done, or voltage to charges in case of charge amplifiers. So charge to voltage conversion is also done. So the requirements for self-generating amplifier, self-generating sensors for conditioning are basically the amplitude level, or the frequency at which the sensor is giving out the output, or the output impedance of these sensors which are producing either the currents or the voltages are the main parameters to be considered while designing the signal conditioning network of self-generating sensors. So here I have highlighted these points. So range of output smaller than the input range of ADC. Suppose the ADC is working in the range of 0 to 5 volts, and here the output of the sensor is less than 0 volts. Less than 0 in the sense few millivolts or so. So it is near to that 0 to 1 volt range, so which may not be sufficient to be converted to digital in case of analog to digital converter. So the output of sensor cannot be directly given to ADC, or AC amplifiers are not suitable as frequencies too low for AC coupled high gain amplifiers. Basically the capacitor coupling issues, the shunting effect of the capacitor coupling issues occurs. The next point, output impedance is very high. Now output impedance can be very high because if you have connected the resistors or the capacitors or the coupling other issues, they may add to high output impedance. So as a result of this, sufficient amplification and sufficient current transfer may not happen to the device. So because of this also, signal conditioning network is required. Then high resolution is required. This is the case with almost all the sensors. Always high resolution in case of anything, any device, any electronic gadget you use, any sensor you use, resolution should be very high. Only then your signals can be reconstructed or the information can be retrieved very easily from these sensors. So these are the basic requirements why the self-generating sensors require signal conditioning. Now for all these signal conditioners, we make use of op-amp as the basic device. Now we know already the basic characteristics of op-amp. First thing, very high input impedance and very low output impedance. High of the order of few mega ohms of input impedance and low as few ohms, 50 to 100 ohms of output impedance is available with either an op-amp circuit or any configuration of op-amp. It can be your simple instrumentation amplifier with 3 op-amps, or there are few more circuits known as choppers, which we will be studying now, or charge amplifiers they are called, where basically they convert the small currents to higher voltages, or current to voltage converters, again the op-amp circuits. So their bandwidth is basically very, very high. So they can be used for very low frequency onwards to high frequencies. Only problem arises for less than 20 hertz signals. Less than 20 hertz signals, even the op-amps also, they don't give very high gain. There is a shunting effect or the input impedance being capacitance type. So there is a issue of this input impedance effect. So such ones basically make use of other circuits, which we will see in the next classes. So choppers and charge coupled amplifiers are most commonly used. There is what is known as one more circuit here, electrometer. For all these questions, electrometer conditioning is the answer, where these electrometers are again basically op-amp circuits with the same characteristics, input impedance high, output impedance low, Only for low frequencies also their amplification is good. So low drift amplifiers and chopper circuits are designed for signal conditioning to suit the needs of sensors to reduce zero errors by simple resistive networks. Now zero errors, basically zero errors even in simple weighing machine, we have discussed what is a zero error. Here in case of op-amp circuits, the zero errors are basically when there is no input, output should also be zero. Even when you have not connected any input, not given any input, if there is a output present, that is due to either your offset voltage or due to any other noise signal which could be produced by the semiconductor device itself, that is the op-amp itself, or in any one of the resistor which is connected, either the input resistor or output resistor, or could be due to the difference in the two bias currents. So these zero errors have to be reduced by simple resistive networks which produce again low noise. So practical op-amps. So we always discuss about the ideal characteristics, but these ideal characteristics always do not exist. If the signal levels which you are operating are slightly on the higher side, then you can ignore all these zero errors or offsets, everything. But if you are using or you are operating in the low signal side, then all these things have to be considered and they have to be reduced to zero. Whatever the errors are caused, they have to be reduced to zero. So those are basically the practical op-amps where offset currents exist, offset voltages also exist, plus there is a DC offset voltage and there is drift happening due to rise in the temperatures. So because of these drifts, the output is varying continuously. So all these are associated with the practical op-amps. And when we are working in labs or any other environment where the practical circuits or the practical setup is there, we have to go ahead with practical considerations. So in the next slides, we'll see what exactly how to reduce these offsets and drift issues in op-amp.